If someone had told me these 5 things when I started sim racing about 10 years ago, I would have saved a lot of time and frustration. So today I'm sharing them with you to help you get faster, sooner, and have more fun doing it. I've thought hard about these 5 things in a context of what would Jack from 10 years ago really have needed to hear. The goal? Perform better, skip the guesswork, and enjoy sim racing more. To me, personally, fast equals fun. Not necessarily fastest on the grid, but pushing your own limits. That's the magic that keeps me coming back. Let's start with something a lot of people get wrong when they first start sim racing, myself included. Tip number 1, tame your force feedback. As far as I can remember, as soon as I got my hands on a force feedback wheel system, I cranked the force feedback all the way up, and I thought the more torque must mean more realism, more speed, right? I wanted to feel everything and then more, but all I really did was wear myself out, lose control in fast corners and slow corners, and just get really frustrated with it. The thing is, your force feedback isn't supposed to overpower you, it's supposed to inform you, talk to you, communicate to you, let you know what the car is doing, and you need to be equally able to receive that information. If it's too strong, you're not listening to the car, you're just surviving it. Your hands tense up, your reactions get twitchy, and you start driving defensively and not confidently. Force feedback should be tuned so that it tells you what's happening underneath the tires, when grip is starting to break away, when the rear is about to slide, when weight is shifting on entry or under braking, but that signal gets lost when it's buried under raw force feedback high torque. So, instead of fighting the wheel, aim to communicate with it. The best sim racers have smooth hands, light hands, not strong ones. So dial it back, get it into a place where the car talks but doesn't scream. Remember, you're not trying to prove how strong you are, you're trying to drive with feel. Don't overpower your wheel, don't let it overpower you. Alright, that's tip number 1. Now let's talk about something everyone obsesses over a little bit too much. This one is super simple, but it's where I see most people, including myself, waste the most time. Seat time beats tinkering. It's easy to think swapping springs, dialing in braking curves, or fine-tuning aero or setup or all this kind of stuff will unlock your next second or tenth of a second, whatever it is. And yeah, although it feels productive, often it's just procrastinating with a purpose. Meanwhile, the real gains come from time on track, repetition, muscle memory, racecraft. A buddy of mine, Marcus Soholm, who's a professional iRacing esports driver, he told me there's no secrets to anything, it's just track time. What you put in is what you get back. There's always the thing of raw talent, but either way, if you've super talent or not so much, track time is the only way to crystallize that into actual pace. I've noticed something that when I drive a lot, I can slip into autopilot. It's consistent, sure, good for races maybe, but it's safe and you stop learning. The real breakthroughs come when you're focused, aware, and willing to try something new, gently pressing on that little safe space that you've created and pushing out. Not too far, maybe braking 5 meters later or taking a different line into turn 2. That kind of experimentation only happens when you're mentally in it and not just logging laps. So yes, track time wins, but even more intentional track time wins big. Tinker less, drive more, and stay present while you're doing it. Quick pause, if you're enjoying this so far and you haven't subscribed yet, now is a great time to join the crew. We're actually getting really close to 60,000 subscribers, which is just wild to me. So if you're into sim racing and want more videos like this, tips, tricks, analysis, gear talk, and just some downright fun racing content, hit that subscribe button because I'd love to have you around. This next one might ruffle a few feathers. Don't chase high-end gear too early. I get it, I really do. The industry makes it really tempting. Direct drives, you've got all these pedals, these screens, these rigs. It all looks like the fast track to getting faster, but here's the truth. Premium gear doesn't make you a better driver if you haven't built on the fundamentals yet. I started sim racing with a G29 clamped to a desk. I did shake that desk apart, but it was great while it lasted, and the whole thing would flex and wobble every time I hit a curb. And yeah, it wasn't ideal, but honestly, I loved it. Going from a controller as a gamer to a G29 was like revelations. It's like I discovered the wheel after driving in a car with square wheels. But that setup forced me to focus on technique, smooth inputs, and actually learning the car, not relying on hardware to do the work. It was raw, but it taught me a lot. And to be honest, what I found out later is high-end gear has diminishing returns, especially if you don't know what to do with it. You won't get the benefit. Worse, you might even burn out. You drop hundreds or thousands on your setup, then realize that you're still kind of not where you want to be, your life gets busy, and now you have a top-tier rig gathering dust. The other problem is, if you start with the best of the best gear, You miss the joy of the journey, like the progression of through different technologies. So learning to extract speed from budget gear really does make you sharper. And when do you upgrade? When you actually feel the difference. You appreciate every ounce of performance because you feel like you earned it. Now, don't get me wrong, you can do what you want with your money when you want, and in general, buying any gear for sim racing is just a complete vanity thing. It really is, a money sink. So, but like all other hobbies in general, they are kind of money sinks. So, once you kind of know you've built the passion, you've stuck around long enough, and then you're like, I'm willing to take this more seriously, I'm willing to invest some of my money that I can afford, then it kind of makes sense to upgrade. So don't be afraid to stick to the basics until your skills outgrow them. That's when the gear starts working with you and not distracting you. Alright, tip 5 is the one that changed the way I race under pressure, and honestly it's the mindset shift that still helps me to this day. But before we get to that, tip 4 is something that's massively underrated. Watch a track guide before jumping into practice. Sounds simple, a lot of us just skip this. There are tons online, and doing this saves you about 20 minutes of guessing. You're not wasting laps figuring out if a corner's flat or debating between 4th and 5th gear. You get right into the meaningful practice. Even better, there are tools that can take this even further. Personally, I use Trophy AI, who also are a supporter of the channel, and their software gives near instant feedback on things like optimal gears, braking zones, and when you shouldn't go full throttle. It helps me practice deliberately and save some serious time. If you're curious, give it a crack. There's a 7-day free trial to give it a go, and they've kindly offered a 12% discount on your first year with code Jackzer. But the most important thing from this tip is that even though you're practicing on the track, don't be afraid to make use of some external things, because when I say getting faster is the objective, it is just so it can feel more fun, because well, there's nothing more fun than really extracting the most performance out of yourself and seeing yourself do the best you can. So don't deprive yourself of any of the resources out there. This last one is something I still use in every single race, and I don't even know if this is the gold standard of tips, but for me it was an absolute game changer, because in some races it gets a little tense, a little nervous, and sometimes you can start getting a little bit jittery. When I'm leading or caught in a full-on wheel-to-wheel battle, it's easy to feel the pressure proper creep in, the heart rate spikes, hands tense up, you start thinking about who's behind you, what could go wrong, or what's at stake. But in that moment, I bring it back to this. It's just me versus the track. That mindset just flips a switch. I stop reacting to what other drivers are doing and start responding to what the car and the circuit are telling me. Every corner becomes a conversation between me, the throttle, the grip. It's really just me and the track. What about the other cars? Just background noise. It's like, think of it, you start a race and then you need to get to the end in 20 minutes. It's just you versus the track, and oh, there's other cars in the way. You might have to negotiate them in a battle, but in general, it's you versus the track. That's when I drive my best. When I'm not trying to win the race, I'm trying to win against myself. That calm, focused state has saved me from countless crashes, helped me recover from under pressure, and honestly made sim racing way more fun. So Jack, somehow if you manage to get your hands on a time machine and you're wasting it by watching sim racing videos, I absolutely urge you to just take these tips on board. They're super easy and you will have a much better time, and who knows, maybe we could be esports world champions by the year 2024. Thanks for watching, guys. See you. Love you. Bye.